Hello everyone, this is Fabrizio from the UCUG, and today we are here having like the UC launch number 2. This was like an event in the past that we are recording these days in order to provide you the service as well, although we had like a problem with Skype Meeting broadcast. Today we have a very big content here. We have like the contact center landscape with Skype for Business, and the first session is with Anywhere365, specifically Roderick Williams. Maybe I did that in a wrong way because I usually call him Roderick. And the title of the session is Dialogue Management for the Business Enterprise, and it will be in English. The second guest will be Plantronics Italy, specifically with Roberto Rossi and Miriam Gottwisch. Maybe I did the second surname wrong too, so apologies for my pronunciation. And it will be a simple smarter headset for the contact center. The third session will be Plenum, Quando Busy Lights, optimize your UC environment with Oli Ritter, and it will be in English too. So I'll pass it over to Roderick, and thank you very much, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Fabrizio. Let me try to launch my presentation here. Should be loading. So, thank you very much. So my name, actually, it's Roderick Wijmans, as we say it in Dutch. But I wouldn't expect you to pronounce it the correct way. I listened to many different nominations of that. What I'd like to show you is indeed present to you the Anywhere365 product, which is a contact center application on top of Link and Skype for Business. So Anywhere365 is the name of our product suite, which is built by Workstream People. Workstream People is the name of our company. And what we try to do with the Anywhere365 product is to enhance or to simplify the dialogues between organizations and their customers externally or internally, and devices and things out there in the market. Anything that can communicate through text, voice, or even video. So it's a software-based product. We are a company based in the Netherlands, with also some smaller offices in Belgium and the United States, and we are currently deploying our software to over 350 organizations across the world. It is and in 28 plus countries. Some of our biggest customers are companies like Swarovski or DHL. DHL, for example, deploys our software application in a US data center to service the South American market of their internal contact centers, and also to provide chat support for their global organization internally in Europe and in the Asia Pacific region. Swarovski is, of course, the diamond, the glitter, the stones manufacturer, who deploy our application as a large contact center in their Switzerland region, and Philip Morris International, which deploys our multi-server deployments across their global Skype for Business platform. Skype for Business, in multiple data centers, South America, Europe, and Singapore for the Middle East region. So those are some of our biggest customers. Of course, on the other end, we do supply to schools and middle large companies as well, and hospitals in certain market regions. So we are we have quite a big deployment base throughout the world, and we are hoping to still penetrate the Italian markets where we are expecting to catch up with Skype for Business deployments, which are hopefully going to take off pretty soon. So what is Anywhere365? It is a contact center-based application, and we like to call it dialogue management because we support all the modalities provided by Link, which is now called Skype for Business, meaning exactly is we can support all the text or instant messaging traffic. We support video for video conferencing through websites or customer interaction, and we support, of course, the audio or voice channels through SIP messaging or when attached to a telephone, PSTN line through the regular telephony numbers. Besides that, so we leverage the web content or the web interaction for conferencing through websites. So we could potentially enable interaction with customers through a website, and then leveraging all the channels provided by Skype on the back end. We are a Microsoft, focused company. So besides Skype for Business as a communication platform, we leverage SharePoint as on which we run our management layer. So we provide website access for easy content management, and SharePoint, of course, allows for distribution of user groups and delegated support rights. So we can make, through this mechanism, every person potentially within a company to manage his or own, site and site content. So management of our platform doesn't necessarily have to be placed at just the IT department, but can be dispersed throughout the company and divided, for whoever needs the purpose. We also rely on Microsoft SQL as a data collection platform. SQL gathers all the dialogue management, the dialogue management contact moments, and we provide a reporting platform on that to analyze and to gather all the data. Which because we manage so many contents, we also call that big data support for our for collecting all the customer interaction information. We support our platform for on-premise deployment, and we've also made some models to attach our system through federated partners, because Link supports, or Skype for Business supports federation, to support federated cloud delivery partners. So that's what you see on the bottom here, and so we can supply models for all the Skype for Business deployments out there right now, from on-premise deployments to full cloud deployments, whereas, as I have to say, the last scenarios, they do require a federated cloud provider to run our platform to provide those services. So what is Anywhere? So Anywhere365, it offers a routing mechanism for voice, audio, video through what we call UCCs, and UCC is our abbreviated term for a Universal Contact Center. And the typical roles for which you would use our product are switchboard reception operator consoles, on which a single number comes in on an application and gets routed to one or more switchboard operators on the back end. We support, you can think of service desk, smaller service desk within a company on which a single help desk number is deployed, behind which there are a few agents, skilled agents who can answer calls on behalf of the single number, or you can grow to larger contact center groups deployed over maybe even geographically dispersed areas. Another form of routing in which our platform supports is the boss secretary routing, because in our view it's another configured way of allowing a main number belonging usually to the boss or director to be routed according to specific routing rules to any backend support employees, in this case the secretaries, to allow the offloading of main numbers for a specific boss or manager. And last but not least, because our application gets deployed also in a lot of high schools and universities, we've also envisioned a role model as a student-teacher routing model. And now this is the example where, for example, the professor of a university is reachable by his students from, say 2 to 4 in the afternoon, but not outside of those hours. Outside of those hours, all the contact or telephone calls to his personal number will be routed to one of his assistants. But in the meantime, outside of those hours, his peer professors are able to directly contact him, for example. So that's a student-teacher routing model. Next slide. What we try to envision, or what we're proud of, is that because we use standard Microsoft components, we pride ourselves for being able to deploy our platform in a really fast time. In our smallest deployment on a single server, for the smaller environments, I think our record is that we have deployed our application and have the first UCC up and running in 1.5 hours. Of course, we are always reliant on the back end, on the provisioning of specific servers with operating systems, and including our application inside an existing Skype for Business platform. But because we use standard components, standard Microsoft components, and our application is developed with the standard Microsoft service or SDK, we can rapidly deploy our application. Another benefit of using Skype for Business as a backend platform is that all our customers have Skype for Business, and Skype for Business, as like in this session, we can easily get in touch with each other through Open Federation remotely. So all our training and all our support can be very easily done with remote sessions. Because we build our platform on an existing Skype for Business or existing Microsoft platform, we also leverage all the components provided by the Link or Skype for Business ecosystem. So we support all the devices that are out there. We support all the virtualization of servers out there, and we can integrate with a lot of external platforms like CRM databases through the open interfaces provided by the latest technology standards. And last but not least, we pride ourselves in building our software with a very nice look and feel, because we think that having software that looks good will be adapted more easily by your end users, and it allows the acceptance of the software and the willingness to use it a lot faster. That's actually what we see a lot in the market, and something that we get praised for a lot in the market. It is a communication tool that needs to be very efficient after all. So back again, what Anywhere365 provides is what we call advanced dialogue management, because the dialogue is what takes place between customer and specialist on the other end, for the business enterprise customers relying solely on your existing Skype for Business infrastructure. We see our application in the current markets where we deploy being used, as a contact center, but also as enterprise routing mechanisms. We see our software being included in Skype for Business deployment in the entire PBX replacement sets, and we can leverage all the modalities. We see our product at certain customers being used for just the voice part, or just the audio part, or just the web chat part, but also for all the features, of course, that we provide. Like I stated initially, our smallest footprint that we can install our software on is on one single virtual server, or physical server, but who uses these days. And just to give you a small description of what our product needs, and this is the most technical slide that I have in here. Contact can be made from the internet, from any device, laptop, desktop, smartphones, telephones, through the SIP protocol, or through telephone number through the PSTN. It will come in on the customer's Skype for Business deployment, through the internet, through firewalls, or through your PSTN network. Our application server has the three components: the application, the Anywhere365 application, the SharePoint layer and the SQL layer for the database. We run some web services for the web chat and web conferencing parts. And this could potentially fit in small deployments on a single virtual server, being able to install this in 1.5 hours. That's a very efficient way of installing our platform. From the smallest to maybe the largest deployment, our largest customers, they deploy our application. They grow our application to as large as their underlying Skype for Business application is. So our international customers, they typically have data centers with the Skype for Business supporting platform in all the three, main regions of the world, to either one of which they could potentially attach an Anywhere365 Skype for Business application in order to run one or multiple contact centers to service employees, inside or outside their company, because that is also one of the benefits of Skype for Business, and be part of the contact center or the dialogue management procedures of functionalities of their company. Besides your own employees, of course, Skype for Business supports federation. So potentially our application can be leveraged to also include federated partners or sister companies within your company structure to be included in the contact center channels provided by Anywhere365. So from small to large, we have proof of and we support all the different models, global deployments provided by Skype for Business. We can grow with your company. We like to say it's designed or tailor-made for your company. As we see several companies or several of our partners deploying our software for different roles within the company. Just go back to the DHL role, the South Americas, they have already deployed our software for the voice and contact channels of the South American regions. And in the European and Asia Pacific regions, they've started with using just the chat channel of our application to give support, as they're in those last two regions. They still rely on their legacy telephony platform, and they will only start to use Anywhere365 once Skype for Business has rolled out to those regions. So we see we can grow and we can flex with the company policy and the IT regulations. One of the other applications one of the other start points of our application is that, or one of the mantras that we say is that our application needs to be able to run on any Skype for Business client that's out there in the market. So our application, there's an animation in this slide, not intentional. So our application can run on can run on any client that's out there, whether it's the full desktop Link Skype Business or app client on Windows desktops, whether it's the Apple Skype for Business client, or it's still a Link client, I believe, out there, or even the mobile apps of Skype for Business from the different mobile platforms, like Windows Mobile, Android, and iOS being, of course, the most popular. Because there, where interaction by any agent or supervisor with the contact center is needed, our first line of contact with that can be done with simple chat commands being chatted to the different contact center entry points. For example, an agent who temporarily does not want to be included in the incoming call queue of a contact center can simply chat the word stop to the specific contact center, and he will not be included in the call queue for those agents, while still being available for his peers and colleagues on regular Link or Skype for Business traffic. On the other hand, a supervisor could, with a simple chat command like listen or talk, you can listen in or talk to an ongoing conversation between a client and an agent. So this way, leveraging the power of chat and the capabilities of any link client out there in the market to interact with the contact center. Now our management layer. So like I said, the management layer can be done through a website and can therefore be delegated from to any person in the organization. It's web-based. It's built upon SharePoint. It's a responsive website which adapts to the type and size and screen of the client device that you're using. So it can be used from mobile devices, albeit a smaller screen with a smaller interface, to a full browser. So anywhere with browser access, from any location with browser access to your application, you can use our management website. If that specific user and the user access is based on your Active Directory user rights, is allowed to access that specific page. We have by default, by standard, defined just 3 user roles: read-only, management, or full control, which allows read also to delete some settings. But of course, because it's built on a SharePoint platform, anyone with SharePoint knowledge could potentially run multiple user roles on specific subsites. Just to give an example, a team lead within a company could be just granted access to add or remove agents from a specific UCC contact center group and influence the business and opening hours. But a more advanced, system administrator can have the rights to also add additional endpoints and upload or remove specific audio files for prompts and automated responses. Like I said, the regular interface on to be accessed by or to receive calls from our contact center is the regular Skype for Business client, and I'm going to try to refrain to use the Skype for Business client, but of course it's also still supported on the Link platform, Link 2010, 2013, and Skype for Business. What you see on the left-hand side of this slide is the regular Skype client, which could provide interaction with your contact center. And so calls and chats, they all come in on the user end from this side. We do have some client enhancements, like a snap-in tool, which is the black bar on the left-hand side of the client you see, which allows for an enhancement of the client with a small wallboard application, useful for monitoring the status of your coworkers or peers, and for some supervisor functionality to influence the specific link availability or Skype for Business availability from within her specific client. Now on the right-hand side, you see our extended window view of the Link client. Let me explain that a little bit. The Link client, or Skype for Business client, allows for additional content to be shown within the regular Skype client. You can still see the regular call control buttons on the bottom of the screen, the stop, the screen sharing, and the mute button, for example. But we can allow, with an installation, a simple installation package, to enhance the screen on the client side to show more content. Now, this more content can be CRM data, for example, by which I mean the CRM, which can be attached on the server side to allow call details or customers to be recognized based on their phone number or SIP address when they contact our contact centers. When the agent picks up the call, the regular Skype client will be enhanced with the contact details provided in the screen. We provide several additional functionality within this platform. For example, timeline feature, which allows display of previous contact moments of the user. We have some call transfer or conference functionalities built into this feature to allow for a little easier call transfer functionality to users within or outside the organization, or conference functionality to include additional specialists if additional information is needed within the company. You also see a recording button, for example, that allows for temporary pausing or stopping or starting recordings within for this conversation, because call recording is another feature that's supported on the back end of our software. And it can be fully automated in the back end, but for compliancy reasons, often it is necessary that certain parts of recordings are to be excluded from a recording session. Or we deploy this feature with a switched version in which we can, just save a recording when it's deemed necessary by an agent or a supervisor for either training or quality monitoring purposes, or for recording threats or security due to security issues. Now, the extension window also allows from this timeline feature, which I explained a little earlier, with with drag and drop transfer functionality. So it's a true enhancement to the up to now out of the box transfer functionality of Skype for Business. Just to explain this view again, what you see here is a contact card of a person that's recognized. We can recognize from the CRM data for which the person works, what her phone number is, what maybe her previous contact or previous cases were, which we can pull from a ticketing or CRM system. And the timeline, we can see what the previous conversation moments from this person were. These conversation moments is what we call, the CRM, the dialogue management information, and it is what is provided by Anywhere out of the box and what is stored in the database. I can see this is the same slide, so I'm going to skip that one. Now, there's an animation in here. What this CRM link can do is when a call comes into a customer, into our UCC, when a call gets routed or searched for by to a specific agent, the CRM link, and it just disappeared in the last slide, so you have to think that with this slide. It pulls up information from a CRM system. It can hunt people based on the skills provided in the CRM, or based in the Anywhere365 platform, and it will hunt the call to a specific available agent, in which it includes the data from the CRM call. Now, with all the information that we gather for each conversation, we can create a social map for each customer. So after enough information has been gathered, you can get a better picture of all the conversation routes within your company, and you may find eventually that some of the calls from person A to B always traverse 3 transfer steps, and so potentially you could improve your communication patterns within your company. Okay, this is the one I wanted to show. One of the applications that we provide on the client side, additional applications, is a reception attendant console. And it's an enhanced link client which allows for easy drag and drop transfer. And I see this is not really the correct slide I wanted to show. But it allows for switchboard operators to easily transfer also with the drag and drop mechanism to allow easy transfer of calls. In the middle side, you can see a calendar screen for which the switchboard can more easily access calendar information of all the peers in your company, and it allows for also this timeline view on the bottom of previous contacts of the caller. We also provide wallboard information. So for larger customer care centers or contact centers, we can provide a full screen desktop wallboard, usually some large computer with a big screen placed on the wall, to provide what's it called, SLA, service level, and contact information in real time on a large screen. Our dialogue intelligence, our reporting, which I'd like to continue, which I'll show you a few slides later on. We provide, the web chat integration from our website, and we have created for our own company and our own data center a grid chat, so-called grid chat application, which is available in the Android store or Apple marketplace, it's called, and it allows for interaction with with your specific UCCs through a specific web app. This app, the grid chat app that you can find in the store, is designed specifically for our own contact centers, but it can be, the view is that it can be adapted to specific companies out there, for which we can provide the platform and the code, and could develop the contact and look and feel to your house style to provide all the contact details from an app. Of course, also leveraging the framework provided by the Microsoft communication channels. A small overview of all the applications, because I can't really go into detail in the time provided for this presentation, but we have web chat, we can interface with workforce management, we provide the reporting, the grid chat, we can provide contextual voicemail, because we can store the voicemails per UCC as well, if it's not required to be stored on a user basis on your Exchange UM. Tools like remote presence updater for supervisor. We can include outbound routing through an on-premise Skype for Business platform. We do CRM integration. We do the call recording, and we provide some additional web-based functionality like call me back buttons, which often gets included through some form of web chat functionality. And we've created a visitor registration package, which is a website which could potentially notify users for which visitors are available in the lobby of your company through an instant message chat. Now, last but not least, what do we do with all the details that are stored? This is probably the most valuable information to your company. All the contact moments and the dialogues being performed within your company are stored and can be retrieved from our extensive set of report templates. And they're all the contact moments we've provided templates for more agent, focused performance figures, caller, so your customer-centered performance figures, or entire UCC performance figures. And so they provide, graphical views of the performance of your contact center, or on the other end, agents, or the call flows dispersed across the time of day. And they can all be drilled down to the entire customer journey provided by the reports. From the moment that a client comes into the platform, which intermediate steps, welcome prompts, or hunting parameters across one or multiple agents have been taken. Even when a call is transferred outside your organization, this call will still be monitored by our application. And if recording was enabled, also the recording can be retrieved from this menu. And for each and every conversation within your passing through a universal contact center, this information is provided. Just a couple more views of what our reporting template looks like. Like I said in the beginning, we pride ourselves in making the product look nice, as well as being useful for, being so for it to be used, by anyone within your company. This is where I want to conclude. I think the time doesn't allow me to do anything more. besides the details probably presented on the website of this UC user group, we are accessible through our own websites, Anywhere365 or www.workstreampeople.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was really great, and the content is huge. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, there's too much. There's too much to tell. Yeah.
Yes. My apologies again for the surname, but I usually call you Roderick, so I never went, behind the name. Anyway.
No problem. No problem.
Okay, I'll take over. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And
you're welcome.
Thank you again, and I hope to see you soon again here. Bye now. Let me take over again, and okay, let me present my presentation. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do now